Firstly, we have studied the challenges that faces infrastructure, alternatively the engineering and construction sector, and including in our country. And we indeed found that infrastructure portfolio, and including the billions of rands that are put there, are affected by lack of efficiencies or inefficiencies, in the sense that projects are not completed in time, and the quality is very poor, and the costs tend to escalate because of delays. So the whole issue of time and scheduling of infrastructure projects is an international problem. It's a problem in our country. So we then studied this and said, what could be done? And we came with certain interventions. The first one was to bring transparency and openness and accountability into the management processes of infrastructure. We did this by making sure that we develop tools for project management. One of them is an instrument or tool we call Project Readiness Metrics. This is an in-house policy for our managers to make sure that projects are clustered and classified according to a certain particular criteria. One of them is we have to tick land readiness. And land readiness will mean availability of land, the adequacy of that land, is it enough to build a specific project. Then we also look at, does it have good rock formation, which is what people call dolomite, and of course the soil condition. We look at the environmental issues, because you can have sufficient land, but in an extremely problematic area environmentally. So we have to tick all those boxes as part of the project readiness metrics. We must look at funding. Projects are funded through the vote in the provincial government. Some are national grants. We have to make sure that these projects are adequately funded, because if a project has got is not adequately funded, it will catch with us in the process, where a project will have to be stopped, and then we'll have to apply for funds. It takes too long, and it affects small contractors and small suppliers who may not have big budgets to be able to deal with that. The third tool that we looked at was the use of smart technologies to bring much more reliability of data to inform decision making. Because what we found was that our managers were using literally what I call gut feel to make decisions. They use instincts. They use data that is not reliable, that's not accurate, that's not scientific, to make important decisions. So what we tried to do was to bring business intelligence. We have got a system that we call Primavera, which is a technology to manage projects. It has got business intelligence capabilities like dashboards. So we added that into our managers, and we also now brought artificial intelligence. We have tested for 3 months drones. And the drone program has actually demonstrated to us that what the managers tells you and what you might find on the system may not be entirely accurate. For example, we had about 63 projects that were signed off, validated, and confirmed that these projects meet the project readiness metric criteria. What did we found when we bring the drone is that the projects did not pass the readiness test, and we had to reduce from 63 to now 48 because the others failed the test when we sent the drone. So the point I'm making is we have found as a Department of Infrastructure Development that if we do not attend to the inefficiencies in the delivery of infrastructure, communities will wait for too long. Suppliers will never be paid in 30 days. And that is also going to affect the performance of the entire infrastructure budget. We also found money has to be sent back to Treasury. And most importantly, corruption. Because if managers are working in the dark and there's no transparency, we don't have tools to see what they're doing. We don't have access in their space. In those dark corners, that's where people steal. That's where there's waste of money. That's where there are changes in project scope that are not authorized. Some of them are not even justifiable. That's where prices are too high. That's where people also try to manipulate tenders. So we believe that whilst we need more money and more projects, we believe that's not the magic formula. Our magic formula is the nuts and bolts, the technical details. And we know it is very strenuous. People don't like, going deep and deeper into causes of inefficiencies because you don't cut the ribbons. But the approach that we took was we must build the technical capacity of government to deliver projects. And you need to invest time. You can't do it in less than 3 years. You need 3-year time to turn around an institution and put it at the best level of performance. Unfortunately, we don't have the time, but we shouldn't cut corners and do wrong things in order to cut the ribbon of projects that have not been properly planned, because the truth is going to catch up with you later. So that's essentially what we're trying to do. And I was trying to explain to the small contractors that the reason why the business confidence index in infrastructure and construction is very low is precisely because the trick is in the nuts and bolts of inefficiencies. And that's what we're trying to turn around to make sure that when we put a project and put it in our pipeline, we know it will not come back. We know it will not affect a small contractor. We know that we will not have back and forth problems. We want one linear, straight line where projects start and end without the back and forth. That's what we are trying to do. So one of the issues that as the provincial government we have looked at is, and we have accepted the truth, the facts, however painful it is, that since 1994 and over the years, we have been trying to give communities productive assets to close the gaps. Communities need schools, clinics, libraries, and roads, and many things. But we have also realized that in that process, maintenance suffered. Maintenance took a big knock. And this is the truth. I mean, it's in our eyes every day. We can see that we have not properly maintained infrastructure. But the good thing is that now we are going to attend to that. Maintenance on its own, it's a big industry. And I'm quite convinced that moving into the future, infrastructure fortunes are going to be turned around in maintenance. That is why we are now going to pilot with the Department of Health. We have agreed with MEC Dr. Gwenra Mohopa that we must move away from reactive maintenance. It doesn't help anyone. People come in, fix small things, they go. As a business person, you don't have a sustainable business, and it doesn't really help you. So what we are trying to do now is to go on a sustainable, proactive, planned maintenance where we will have consortiums and companies of small contractors, of medium size, of big companies working together in one facility, and everybody can see that over the next period, we are trying to improve the life expectancy of let's say, a hospital. In that we mean consistent, well thought of, carefully planned maintenance over time and increasing the levels, because we have done the ratings of the hospitals, 1 out of 5. We want to take the hospitals to at least 4 or 5. Which is the best level. So we need to do maintenance over time in such a way that we get buildings and facilities to perform at the best level. We have got problems of climate change. We need to tweak our buildings to adapt to the new demands of the environment and the reality of extreme weather conditions. So we're going to have to rework our buildings. We've got to bring them to the new level of technologies. Some of them are using outdated engineering methods. So maintenance is the next big industry, is the next big part of infrastructure. And I think that's where small contractors, artisans, people who do different aspects of maintenance, small as they might be, they're going to find space in the hospitals that we're going to do. So the cake is so big for everybody. But if these projects are not done again in the most efficient, effective way technically, the people will never get the benefits. That is why we're sitting with a problem that we spend billions of rands in infrastructure, but the business confidence, the sentiment in the industry is very low. We believe the trick lies in inefficiencies, and that's what we're trying to sort out.